abilities AoE against a team of like meleeers, like the Corsairs. The Corsairs can no longer crit in melee against any of your units that are within 6 inches of them. Like, that's insane. And that buff lasts. Like, it lasts until the following turn, so you don't have to activate your Apprentice first and rebuff. Not only that, you know, not to be outdone in any way, shape, or form. You could also activate the the countertemporal nanomine, right? The countertemporal nanomine used to go away at the end of the round. Now it lasts until the Chronomancer goes again. So he can place a chronotemporal nanomine, and that part of the field is under the effect of -2 to all movement that passes through it for like until the next time it goes. Like, you can do it at the beginning of turn 1, then move the Chronomancer into a perfect position to like start a turn 2, and then just do it. Like, not to start turn 2, but to end turn 2. Like, he can just sit and hide for the entirety of turn 2 and not care, right? And then you can readjust everyone else on the field while the countertemporal nanomine is still down. And then, when it's his time to go at the end, he can move it. Like, he can be like, all right, let me move it closer to me so that you guys are still screwed next turn for movement. Like, that's so goddamn powerful. And even further beyond, right? Like, the, which one is it? The Psychomancer normally isn't that great. It's probably the bottom tier of all the 3 heroes, except for in Into the Dark. He's really good in Into the Dark. But like, his abilities are kind of subpar, right? He has a pretty good counter to people being able to loot things, so like that's kind of cool. But the other thing he has is a single target, line of sight only required super injury. So now, if you're fighting like a team that has like one really good elite and then a bunch of shitty characters that kind of work around him, you can super injure that elite with your Psychomancer in turn 1, or the Apprentice in turn 1 at the beginning, if you can see it, like line of sight it. And then like, don't go until the end of turn 2, and that unit is super injured until the end of turn 2. They are so crazy now. The accelerator is no longer a 3-inch away thing. It's now 6. 6 inches is enough to do its bonus, and it gives either a death mark or an immortal +1 to its APL for free. For free. It used to be a 2 APL unit, so this was the issue in the game. You would move it to a point, and if the point was a loot point, you would loot. If you wanted to give an APL to another unit to have it do like cool things, you had to make a choice between giving it the APL or looting. Like, it was so stupid. It was actually so fucking stupid. Like, the whole premise of that team just didn't work because the combos took forever. But now that the bonuses last, which also means the freaking healer, the Hieratic healer, a lot stronger. Because if you have Nanoscarab Swarm active, if you activate it early, or you don't have to activate it early in first turn usually though, but literally if it's active, which you'll probably have it active once a round, it stays active until that unit goes again, just like I've been saying, which means none of your units can be considered injured, and when they heal in the following round, they get +1 to their heals. Also, the revive is way better. The revive is a guaranteed 4 health to start, and then if, let's say you don't have the healer in, so it's a guaranteed 4 health +2, so 6. When you get back up. Guaranteed, you're starting at least 6 health, which is really good. You could, under the influence of Nanoscarab Swarm, and if you get a good roll, 9 health. That's so stupidly good. To get a unit back up at 9 health and have that unit not be considered injured, like, right away. Like, oh my god, they're going to be so strong now. They're going to get a nerf, I feel like, after the fact. Someone's going to nerf it. But the fact that they increased all the leader units, ballistic skills, and healths. So your leader, +2 health, Despotech, +2 health, Apprentech, +2 health. All their ballistic skills are now 3+. That is so stupidly good. I gotta go to the bathroom. BRB. Euclidean Star Strider nerf was actually kind of interesting. I was actually really interested to see that like pop up as a thing. They brought the attacks back down for it. The ballistic skill for the friggin' ranged weapons, which was kind of cool to see. They basically undid the 2 blast version weapons, the buffs that those got. They turned it off. They kept the ballistic skill on the beam rifle though, which yeah, I get that. But having the blast ones hit on 3s was way too good. Kasserkin though, +1 to wounds. That was huge. All units +1 to wounds. Oh my god. And then they finally gave them a close range function. They gave them combat knives. Because a lot of the things you purchase on Kasserkin tend not to work. Like, from a conceptual standpoint, why the hell on a Kasserkin unit do you need the foregrip? Foregrip is only good in close combat because the size of that squad means you're probably never going to overwatch, which means the upgrade ability that gives you the lack of ballistic skill reduction during Overwatch didn't really matter. Like, it just isn't good in like any sense of the word. It's just not good. So the fact that they can now have combat knives, so in the open field, they have the ability to be like, well, at least we can hit hard in close range if need be. It's good. Also, the fact that they now generate more elite points per round. And in a way where if the leader dies, they're not screwed. Because that was kind of the big thing. If you could catch the leader out on a Kasrkin team, that was it, man. Like, catching the leader out on a Kasrkin team was literally just like how to kill a Kasrkin team 101. Can't generate points anymore. Everything's over. Meanwhile, now it's just down to like you'll always gain the 2 that he normally gives you, but when he's also on the field, you gain 2 extra. So you're gaining 4 around, which means you start, I think, with 14. And the way you're supposed to play Kasrkin, you don't really use them on turn 1, right? The goal is to not be in the open on turn 1. You want to do stuff turn 2. Like, that's your first real turn, is turn 2. So technically, depending on what you can find with your sniper, which you'll usually have. Let me record this. Depending on what you can find with your sniper, in turn 1, you should have 18 elite points to work with on the big turn for you. Which is pretty big, especially if you start using the command point function that allow for free use of elite points, which is really cool. I think we're gonna do the brown on this shoulder horn as a base, but I'm pretty sure the shoulder horn's gonna come out as a bone color instead of gold, like the rest of his armor components that are gonna be in the brown. So how'd you do with your Hunter Clade, though? You do alright? Hunter Clade are pretty good. I believe. It's the Hunter Cadre that are the Kroot, right? Hunter Cadre is Kroot. Hunter Clade is the Adeptus Mechanicus, right? I'm not wrong in that thinking. It's one of those issues of Games Workshop naming one thing practically the same as the other. Super fun for me. Playing the memory game. You do well with them? I know they got nerfed after the last, I think, second season, the mid last season or something, because they were kicking ass. They hit so stupidly hard that they got like a bit of a reduction in units. I think they're still just good because their guns are still ridiculous. They're like on par with Pathfinders in terms of overall strength for ranged. And their melee isn't half bad. It's just they reduced it. So I decided against doing the Daemon Prince magnetic. The way that the backpack is set up on him, it would still be doable, but I don't think it would look good. I would kind of need to create a sort of like green stuff base for it, where the green stuff would kind of be like matched to another thing of green stuff. And then I would have to make it so that the wings were attached to the other thing of green stuff, and that the backpack was attached to like a different thing of green stuff. And I didn't like that idea, because like the wings, when you attach the wings to its back, the wings go on separately, like in different sections. I was kind of really hoping that the wings would be like their own little box system. All right, but like they ended up being kind of part of like the major component on the back, like in like two separate parts, whereas the backpack was the middle, like the backpack was the main part, and that's what I was kind of worried about. Because the attach points on the back weren't like dead center. It's one of those things where like the engineer probably figured it out and was like, "This is brilliant," but like in reality, from the perspective of a person like me who was like, "Man, I'd really like to both have the backpack and the wings, so depending on what's going on, I can maybe choose like different war gear for my dude." And then just have the actual visual representation of it on the field, and it could be really nice. But then, and then, like, you see that, and you're like, oh, I can't. And that annoys me. So we went wings. I was debating holding off and buying, like, some, like, regular ass, like, feathered wings, because he is Zinch, and they give you leather wings instead. But like I don't know. I'm okay with the model. I didn't really think I needed to like convert it much, because there's a high chance I'm probably never gonna use a Daemon Prince. We'll have to see though when the new rules come out, because they have gone into a little bit of info about how it's going to play. Right? They've talked a little bit about 10th edition, and they've mostly brought up that from what it you need like one thing to be a character. You can only take one like special character per army list. Like there's at least a little bit out there so that you kind of know like all the stuff that I have, right? Like I have Ahriman, I have what's this setting? Oh, okay. I have Ahriman, I have Magnus. I've got like a lot of elements that kind of feel very like hero centric, and then I just have a lot of sorcerers. Like I have a sorcerer in Terminator armor. I've got sorcerers on Discs of Zinch. I got a lot of options, is what I'm trying to say here. A lot of options. The question is, how do I want to use those options? And we're going to have to see. We're going to have to see what kind of comes around to make those options viable or interesting at any one point in time. Because in my brain, I was like, oh, it'd be cool to use, like, to figure out how to use, like, a Magnus frickin' Ahriman team, but as far as I can tell from what they've said so far, that is not going to be in the cards. And I'm okay with it. The main thing for me as a Tzeentch player is I need to see what they say about spells, because they were very clear that the spells, as far as it sounds, are going to be on the unit cards, which I feel might mean that a lot of the spells that I was expecting to use aren't going to be there. They're going to be a little bit restricted. Because there were a ton of spells. The whole purpose of a caster was to look at the list of spells from the team, which if the roster for the team is only going to be one page, it's not going to have as many spells as it has right now. Oh, dude, go for it. I'm just talking out my ass to try to like keep my attention to what we're working on here. I'm just thinking out loud mostly. I do this normally. Talk to myself off stream because I'm a weirdo. The one I like I mean, I have the link to the tokens I use. Those are really nice, in my opinion. But you do have to paint them, which isn't half bad. But then again, I did purchase more recently, and those are still sitting next to me completely unpainted. I think I'm gonna try to do a busy work day this weekend. The ones I ordered come from Germany, I think. They're from Etsy. Etsy! But yeah, I'm gonna try to busy work day this weekend. I brought my Thousand Suns over so I can get the rest of the Rubik Marines started along with the sorcerers that I painted. Get them at least base toned with the black and gold. And then I might, depending, I might try to get the little tokens I use painted up. So I can have the rest of them done. One last component for the warp lock. Although I should probably warp lock the sword as well. Just make it look a little different. Oh, you mean one of those collective cases? Those aren't bad. I just really liked the hard resin STL tokens I bought. They feel nice to put down on the field. Like they don't feel like they might break or anything or like wear out over time. They're just there and they feel good. Which is nice. It's a nice. I think we'll start with greedy, and then I might highlight with other ones. Ooh, grab one. I got my two. Hell yeah. Ooh. Look at this mammer jammer. He coming. Look at it. Look at it. He is the captain now. We're gonna brighten it up with some bright gold on top of the greedy gold. Try to pull some of the attention to the top parts. He comes. All right, let me Let me get some skeletal down. I do feel like skeletal needs to be used here. Bright gold. Bright gold is way closer to the yellow side of things. So you just work it in at like the tops of the certain parts, try to brighten it up, push it away from the reddish gold and move it up to the yellow. I think we're gonna try to matte black the armor as like a nice layer color. This is the bone white mixed with a little paint called crusted sore. It makes it look a little like purplish red. I've been kind of liking the results of it, since it's not such like a pure bone color. I feel like you can kind of work off of it a little. A little better. I think I do need to put down more though. I think I feel like it's dried a bit, even though the palette really shouldn't have allowed for this. Because the palette is still moist. I don't know why some of these colors are drying out as quickly as they are. Bow, bow, bow. Bow, 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 bow. You're trying to get are you trying to do the transfers? Like the like